You've been an appointment setter for a while now, and you're wondering how to transition from setting to closing. This is the strategy and mental model I use to become a closer in my first 5 weeks of being on an offer. Hey, what's going on? I'm Jackson. On this channel, I'm documenting my journey in the online high-ticket sales space to create financial and location freedom, whilst also teaching a few tips and tricks to increase your performance in life as a whole. So if you're new here, smash that like button and hit subscribe down below. Now, why should you make that transition? For 3 reasons. Number 1, it's funner, you'll make more money, and it's a lot easier to network. Now, why is it more enjoyable? But I personally get sick of hearing the phone dial for 20 minutes straight with no conversations. It just doesn't stimulate me. Now, on top of that, when you're on a sales call, you're solving a puzzle, so it's more engaging, it's more entertaining. It's like a challenge you've got to complete. And additionally, yeah, you get a little bit of dopamine when you put an appointment through, you set an appointment, but there's nothing compared to actually closing a deal. Because after you've taken payment and you've ended that call, you're just on a fucking high. Now, one thing to remember when you do close these deals is the peaks and valleys thesis. So when things are going really well and when they're going really bad, just be neutral. So yeah, you get a little bit of dopamine when you close that deal, but you just got to stay focused and focus on the inputs, not the outputs. Because you will have those bad days, you will have those bad weeks. It's all a part of the game. Now, secondly, you make a lot more money as a closer. Think about it. The problem is bigger, therefore you're going to get paid more when you solve that problem. Now, for example, let's say you're closing a $10,000 package and you as the closer gets 10% commission. Let's say you've got 8 calls in your calendar per day and hypothetically you've got a 50% show rate. So that means when 8 calls are booked, 4 people are going to show up to those calls. Now, let's say your skills are at a really competent level, as well as the marketing by the company is done exceptional. And let's say you have a 50% close rate. So of those 8 calls, 4 show up, and of those 4, 2 of them you close. A 10% commission on 10K, you're making $1,000 per call that closes. So that's 2K for the day. Now, if you expand that over 5 days per week, it's 10K per week. Over a month, that's $40,000 per month. Now, of course, the math sounds better than what it is, but let's just say you got to that point where you're closing 50% of your deals and you can increase your show rate from above 50%. That's the type of money you can make as a closer. And it's also easy to make a lot more money because you're outsourcing all the bullshit. It's like for my YouTube videos, I outsource the editing. Why would I spend 10 hours editing a video? Get someone else to do that. So why would I spend time qualifying these appointments, going through leads, when I can just have leads on my calendar that are qualified? So I outsource that to an appointment setter, and I'm only speaking to qualified, buyer-ready people. Now, the third reason to transition is it's a lot easier to network. Why, you may ask? It's because you've now got the status of a closer. You may be feeling it's a little bit difficult to network with the top closers and top entrepreneurs when you are an appointment setter. Now, think of this from a logical perspective. There are so many freaking setters out there, so it's hard for these top entrepreneurs and top closers to decipher from the people who are actually about it. Therefore, they will avoid the majority of setters. Not all of them, but in my experience, this was the case for me and the other people I've spoken to who were setters. Now, what you've got to understand, when you're a closer, let alone a top closer, your foot is already in the door with these other top closers on other offers and these other entrepreneurs. Because when your reputation gets around that you're fucking competent, your network just expands. So to show up to these calls and don't fuck it up, follow some basic networking theses and you'll be sweet. The more high income earners that you connect with and create relationships with, that's not only expanding your network, but it's expanding the net worth of your network. Now for the source, how do you actually make that transition? There are 3 main steps to follow here. This includes prepping your mind, your skill development, and of course, your offer. Now, when you prepare your mind, you need to remember learning before you earn. So let's say you want to be in online sales for 5 years. If you think about those 5 years of your skill development, that 3rd, 4th, and 5th year, you'll be making so much money because you've worked on your closing skill instead of staying a setter for 1-2 years. So yes, in the shorter term, you will make less money of going for the skill development path, but in the longer term as a whole, holistically, you've not only got the skill, but you'll be making a lot more money when you're a top closer. Because the most I've ever heard a setter make is $20,000 per month. Yes, that's insane. I'm not making that yet. But the most I've ever heard a closer's making is 6 figures per month. So that just shows you the difference in earning capacity once you get your skills to a certain level. You just need to remember to think longer term. Now, on top of that, you need to be prepared to suck at first as a closer. It's like your first few appointment setting calls. I remember mine. I was shit. You're going to have that same feeling again when you start closing. Like for me, my first week of closing, closed no deals. It felt horrible. But the second week, I kept showing up, kept putting the skill reps in, kept putting the role playing reps in, did all my calls, and that second week, I closed 6 deals. And then my third, 8 deals. Second thing you need to get down to make this transition successfully is your skill development. The bare minimum bar is you need to do at least 30 minutes of role play per day, ideally an hour if you can. The more the better here. Now, I'd also recommend 30 minutes of a sales related book or like productivity book to overall improve your function in life as a whole, not only your sales, because everything you do in life translates to your performance in sales. Like if I don't hit the gym, I'm not feeling as energized, I'm going to close less deals for that day. If I'm training twice a day, I'm going to feel incredible, I'm going to close more deals. But that's just my take on it. Now, number 3, you need to do at least 30 minutes per day of some sort of paid course or community that's out there. When you pay to play and you buy access to these programs, you're shortcutting your skill development because you're getting an A to Z process, if it's a good program, of course. But instead of you watching all these fluffy YouTube videos where they've got the dopamine cuts in there for the retainment, you need to find the pure value and go to the pure source to make that transition. You need to up your skills before you up your money. Now, the third thing you need to keep in mind to make this transition is arguably the most important one, or it'll be on the same level as your skill development, but it's your offer. Now, there are only 2 ways to transition from setting to closer. It's either get promoted on the offer that you're on now as a setter, or find a new offer as a closer. If you want to get promoted in one of these top companies, it can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months to make that transition from setter to closer, is what I've heard. But once your skills are up to par, you can go and find a closing offer with another company, where once again, you won't be making as much, but you're getting those skill reps in. Now, ideally, if you have the time for it, I would recommend working on a setting offer to make that money with one of those companies where you're actually getting some good lead flow and you're making some dosh at the end of the day. And then also take maybe 3-4 hours plus some training on another offer for some closing reps to actually do some sales calls on those other offers. Think offers like VShred or Committed Coaches, where you won't be making a lot of money at first, of course, but once again, the skill gain is fucking insane. Really quickly, if you've got any questions and you want to ask me personally and want me to reply ASAP, in the description below, there's my Instagram. Send me a DM on there. Now back to the video. There are 3 main ways to get a new offer. Number 1 is your personal brand. You need to produce content on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, even Instagram as well, so you become credible in this online high-ticket sales bubble. People are familiar with you, people know your name. So if you provide as much value as you can to people, when some offers come up, they will palm it over to you. And they'll put in a good word for you, get you a referral, get you an interview. This is longer term thinking, this does take time. And so does the second strategy, being your network and networking. In networking, you can do a targeted networking approach. So let's say you're on an appointment setting offer at the moment. You want to go and work on Committed Coaches, for example. Do some research, go on their website, find 10, 15 people that work for Committed Coaches, put them on a spreadsheet, outreach them all on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, all the social platforms, interact with them, then send them the message so it's not cold outreach, it's warm outreach. And then set up some networking calls, jump on a call with them, provide as much value as you can. And then a few days later, if you think the call's gone well, ask for a referral. So say something like this. Hey Sam, I really enjoyed our call the other day, and I've decided that I do want to pursue a closing position in the online fitness sales space. Would you happen to know any companies that are hiring? So don't ask him, hey, can I have a referral for the offer you're on? You seem like a wanker. Just put it out there, hey, do you know any offers that are hiring? Might not be the offer you want, but it can palm you off to another one. Or, if done right, if you network correctly and provided value, he will give you a referral, the offer that he's on. In this case, the Committed Coaches. Now, the third way to find one of these closing roles is through job posts. So think the Facebook groups, and LinkedIn's also really good as well. You can go through all the job posts, hit them all up. Yeah, there's a lot of shit ones out there, but it's just a volume game. Spend an hour or 2 per day if you're really serious about getting another job. Just go through, you're going to go through some shit ones, jump on calls with them. There's going to be some calls where they're horrible offers, but there will be some decent ones out there. Now, on top of that, if you're in Australia, I'd recommend Indeed or Seek.com, which are more traditional websites to find jobs. So just filter it by online remote sales, and then you can put a closing role in and apply to those jobs. Now, if you decide to follow through and make this transition, your future self will appreciate it. If you only take one thing away from this video, Just remember to learn before you earn. So for context, I was on a fitness appointment setting role for 4 weeks, and then I had some time off the job, then jumped off the offer for a couple of weeks, and then landed the closing role I'm on now, selling business consulting / business coaching to trades businesses, like think electricians, plumbers, landscapers, etc. So I'm currently selling a $80 per week package for 52 weeks if they choose the payment plan, or they can pay in full for $3,200. Now this is exactly how I've made the transition with only 5 weeks on an offer. And this is how I'd recommend you start to supercharge your skill development in this space. Now once again, ideally if you can work 2 offers, one earning offer and one learning offer, that's what I'd recommend. I just don't have the time for it at the moment because I am training for a fight. Now this is my experience so far. First 4 weeks on an offer on a fitness role, and the other 2 weeks when I've been on an offer has been the closing role. Now if you like this video, the video popping up on screen now is going to show you what my first 3 months were from A to Z and how much money you can expect to make in the online high ticket sales space. So I highly recommend you watch that one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.